Today I'm talking with Chris Taylor, Head of Safety, Health and Environment for Hilton Foods Australia. So welcome, Chris. Love to hear you talk about when you started using GSI, what were you hoping to achieve?
Yeah. So Brendan, we embarked on the journey with the use of GSI. Ultimately, as a safety team, we recognised that there was a clear link between our safety performance, our lag safety performance, and culture. So at the end of the day, we were looking to establish what that link was, and we were attempting to establish a product, or to find a product that would actually be able to enable us to identify what that culture was.
So, Chris, thinking about it on a more personal level, how does using a tool like the Global Safety Index help you better perform your role?
Yeah, it's a great question, Brendan. At the end of the day, obviously, part of my role is to drive towards a somewhat of a sustainable safety culture, and also at the same time try and encourage our people and our leadership teams to be better with the way that they manage the space. So the tool itself was a breath of fresh air in that regard, because it enabled us to be able to identify our opportunities, and also at the same time give us some really defined feedback from our frontline staff to enact or to focus specifically on what those particular opportunities were. So from a personal level, it was, as I said, a breath of fresh air, because it was essentially telling us in a sense, it was telling us what we already knew, where our opportunities were, but at the same time, it really defined specifics in that regard, and enables to put together plans to counter that.
Chris, you're referring there to using the Safety Culture Index to measure your safety culture. Once you performed that the first time, how did you think about socialising those results within the business?
We essentially, as a leadership team, pulled the results apart and really worked together to try and collaboratively come up with a definitive action plan to try and address some of the opportunities that we had.
Could you talk a little bit more, Chris, of how you translated the outputs from the Global Safety Index system, the reporting, and actually converted them into concrete actions within the workplace?
Sure. Again, there was a little bit of finessing that I had to do as a safety lead. We essentially had the report. We pulled it apart as a safety group, a safety team, so to speak, and then we I suppose applied a little bit of finesse. The finesse we used was essentially highlight some of those things that we thought were really bang for buck. First and foremost, were really bang for buck opportunities that we knew were going to have tangible outcomes if we addressed them. So that was the methodology we used in that regard, rather than throwing a heap of data at someone and basically asking them where we should start. Second time round, we did that. We obviously used a similar sort of concept, but obviously some of the improvement opportunities and the correlating action that followed were a little bit different. There were areas that we improved on from the time before. There were areas that we sort of stayed the same, and there were areas that we actually got worse on. So, obviously picking apart those opportunities was certainly part of the methodology. It's really about interpreting the data, defining what action is something that will fit your business, and then obviously following up and deploying those actions.
So you said there, Chris, about deploying the Safety Culture Index the second time round. Can you just talk a little bit more about that? How was the second time different? Was the business better prepared for it? More able to implement the actions or the results coming out of it?
Yeah, there was a lot less skepticism. There was in it the second time round, because they knew that the leadership team particularly knew what they were getting themselves in for. There was also a degree of enthusiasm from our leadership team, because they saw firsthand the results that come about from the first time, because obviously, with a healthy culture comes a happier workforce. The second time round, there was certainly a degree of enthusiasm from our leadership team in understanding where they were now after a fair bit of input and work from each of our sites. We deliberately first time round avoided benchmarking each of our sites because we recognised early on the piece that we had some very different cultures. We had a brand new site just opened up when we first did the safety culture index assessment, if you like. We had two existing plants that were very different in their makeups and in their cultures. So we recognised that it probably wasn't going to be healthy for us to distinguish between the sites because we thought that maybe that would be where the focus is, that some have a better culture than others, rather than as a business we thought that it would be better that our teams focus more on an overall business-wide improvement plan. Second time round, again, it was a little bit different because we had we actually enabled the index to distinguish between the different sites, and actually measured our sites' performance based on the measurement tool that you provided, and broadcasted those results. So it was again a bit of a maturity shift from the first time round, which was actually received quite well, given that that obviously there was overall improvement, which is certainly the aim that we intended, but also there was also site specific opportunities that were raised the second time round, which weren't available the first time round. So it gives sites the ability to really target their own personalised action plans second time round, as opposed to a more of a joint wide or business wide plan. We've recently transferred operational control from our existing business to a separate one. So we've got a bunch of new leadership roles in the business, but also different hierarchy, different leaders, people that would never have. And it's a European-based company, so really looking forward to embracing those aspects of our business now, and also teaching them what we've learned over the journey using the GSI tool. They have a European arm. We're certainly looking to, or I'm certainly looking to cascade that out to the European sites, because I feel that particularly with those newer sites, or those sites that don't have an idea about what their maturity is, this is a fantastic tool for them to enable that. And also, long term, we're certainly looking to never rest on our laurels in regards to what our maturity level or culture maturity level is like in our business. We recognise the fact that if we take the finger off the pulse, we're potentially setting ourselves up for failure. So we're certainly looking to leverage off the use of the tool to enable that and continue that journey onto to best in class, hopefully, at the end of the day.